think that, she really did think that she was going over there just to smoke some crack and leave. No. You can't smoke crack with Rickety James and think you're going to leave. No. Free crack? No, this ain't that. No, brother. I ain't got no hits. Oh, my life, Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's look is our blue punk funk shades without the bling. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please remember to hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's talk about the master of punk funk, Rickety James. Now, I don't want to hear your shit about Nay. His name is not Rickety. Yes, his name is Rickety. If y'all didn't read the Glow book with us, shut the fuck talking to me. I know this. If I don't have respect for the celebrity, then I won't talk about him. Period. The only people that I talk about are the people that I respect. So I have mad respect for the Rickety James. Hold tight, I'm going to tell you why. James Ambrose Johnson, Jr. was born February 1st, 1948, in Aquarius. You know my Libra ass is already smitten, okay? Despite how rickety his ass is. He was born the third of 8 children and raised in Buffalo, New York. By the age of 9, his father left home, leaving his mother and his siblings to be raised in a strict household. Strict my ass. Not in my house. No, you can't play these games all the while. Every time she leave to go to work, her son's sneaking bitches through the back door. Like I was saying, if you read the Glow book with us, then you know that his mammy ran numbers. Okay, mama, I'm confused. You ran a strict household, but you around there running numbers? Okay, mammies always got to do what they got to do, And I don't have no judgment because I found out 10 years after my mother died that she was selling marijuana. While his mother was running numbers, because Rickety James is a mama boy, he was right there, okay? His mother is in the club collecting her fees, and Rickety James is under the table, enjoying acts like Miles Davis and Etta James. Although Rickety James is his mama's boy, his innocence would be torn from his chest and his balls because he was doing the hoochie coochie with the 14-year-old girls in the neighborhood at 9. Okay, now that ain't nothing new. Because every time I ask a boy, how old was you when you got the time that had sex for the first time? And they be like, oh, I was like 7. Well, how old was the bitch that gave it to you? She was my babysitter. She was like 14. You be like, what is going on here if he's 7? I mean, how? By 15 years old, he dropped out of high school and started smoking weed and shooting dope, okay? We know this because of the Glow book, all right? I know some of y'all like, what? Rickety James was shooting dope at 15? Yes, and he had some dumb bitches, okay? Him and his friends had some stupid, dumb bitches who would shoot dope with him. These girls breaking into people's house, stealing the stuff out of the people's houses, take it back to their boyfriends, okay? Rickety James and his dumbass crew, and the Rickety James and them selling it or bartering it so they can all get high. Now, at 16, Rickety James joined the Navy Reserves. The Jesus, why did he do that? Because the Reserves is a part-time gig, you know, he can handle it, okay? Until it gets in the way of what he really wants to do, okay? So he's part-time with the Reserves, and he's playing drums for local jazz groups. Like I always say, it's never a problem till it's a problem, okay? It's time for him to show up to the Navy Reserves. Answer, no. That's not what's going to happen because he got other stuff he want to do. So now the ninja is AWOL on a part-time gig, brother. You can't go to work on a part-time gig. You done signed your name on a dotted line to the military, and you think they just going to be like, okay, he didn't come in. Gone AWOL. Okay, there's a consequence. There is always a consequence when you don't do right by the government. Okay, so they said, well, since you don't want to act right part-time, we're going to send you over to Vietnam full time. Answer no, ding no. The next step for Rickety James is Canada. Toronto, I'll be over there. You find me over there. And I don't have no qualms with nobody who tries to avoid war. Okay? Especially since it ain't your war any damn way. It ain't like you know the nigga. It ain't like you know Mr. Vietnam man. While he is in Toronto, he is using the name Little Ricky Matthews. Okay? He over there, he done hooked up with this dude. I forget his name, but it's something Matthews, right? And the dude, something Matthews, had told Rickety James, listen, this is your new name. Your new name is Little Ricky. Because, you know, for some reason in the industry, whenever you put a little or young in front of it, it just hits better. Like, you know, Little Richard, Little Frankie Lyman, NBA Youngboy, Little Wayne, Young Jeezy, you know, and then once you become an old man and start getting gray on your balls, then they drop all that. Now, while he over there in Canada, he done hooked up with this dude named Neil Young, and together they created the group, the Minor Birds. The group was a combination of soul, funk, and rock. As we know, it's different genres of funk, okay? And it's no one person that is the head of it all. Now, I would say that James Brown was the originator, and George Clinton came in and he cultivated it, but it's so many different kinds of funk out there. I would say that George Clinton is the king of psychedelic funk. Rickety James is the king of punk funk. Okay, and Dr. Dre, shitty ass, is the king of G-Funk. In 1965, the Minor Birds are on their way to Motown, but you know how Berry Gordy is, okay? These ninjas dress a little weird, so, you know, this does not fall in line with the Motown brand. And on top of that, you know Bertie Gordy ain't about to hire no fugitive, okay? Because remember, he on the run from the U.S. military. And as soon as Bertie the Gordy found out, he was like, answer no, ding, no. You know, Rickety James, that nigga burned bridges, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you better check out that Glow book playlist that I'm going to put down in the description bar and down in the comments. That nigga burned bridges. He pissed somebody off over there in Canada, okay? And a dude called to the Bertie Gordy and was like, oh, Bertie Gordy, you know you got a fugitive over there. You know you do. So Bertie Gordy was like, listen, as soon as you get yourself together, come back and we can work together. Now, as we know, Little Ricky Matthews eventually became Rickety James, okay? How did he hit that name, you ask? It's because one day while he was around there at the Motown showing Bertie Gordy what he got, Stevie Wonder walked up on him. Oh, hey, Little Ricky, you got something special going on there. Duh, Stevie Wonder finds me fascinating, you know? So he's invested, all right, into what Stevie Wonder has to say because Stevie Wonder is indeed a big deal. Stevie Wonder told him, you know what you need to do? You might want to get rid of that Little Ricky thing because your sound is big. What you're going to be is big. Get rid of anything that resembles little, okay? Because remember, Stevie Wonder used to be Little Stevie Wonder. Now, in 1966, he turned himself into the FBI because, remember, the ninja is AWOL, okay? And he was sent to 5 months, but he would escape. Didn't matter because once everything was settled with the military couldn't do nothing with him, okay? Because during the Vietnam days, if you guys didn't know this, they was taking everybody, 16 15, 17, 18. They just wanted to send some bodies over there to Vietnam to fight a goddamn war that we don't know what the hell is going on over there anyway. Because the military had messed up so bad and allowed a 16-year-old to slip through. Actually, government, you can stop it. You know damn well that dude, when you put his social security number in the system, okay, you knew damn well that social security number was not attached to an 18-year-old when you signed his ass up and put him in the reserves. You know that, government, but we not here to talk about the misdoings of the America. We here to talk about the Rickety James. Because the military messed up so bad and allowed young 16-year-old Rickety James to be signed up for the military, they had to let him go. So all that military business eventually went away. In 1968, he back in action, writing for Motown, but he broke though. He writing songs. You know why he broke? Because Bertie Gordy don't pay nobody, okay? Everybody gotta have a side hustle, okay? So young Rickety James is hooked up with Jimmy Ruffin, David Ruffin's brother. Rickety James is also a Potter Ranger, okay? You heard me blink, you know what I'm saying? He a Potter Ranger. So he may be making his money, selling a little coke here and there, sniffing a little cokey here and there. But Jimmy Ruffin is, selling, fish dinners, all right? Now, Rickety James was like, maybe I can get away from, this boogity sugary, at least selling it, if I can convince these girls to sell fish dinners for me. Okay, blink, if you know what I'm saying. Didn't work for Rickety James. That wasn't his thing. He wasn't into exploiting women. Now he may burn a bitch with a crack pipe, but he will not allow a hussy to sell a fish dinner for him because he got respect for the women. Now, like I said, he a whole Potter Ranger, okay? Now, he milling around with different people, getting to meet different people. And one of the people who he met was this dude named Ricky Steele. Ricky Steele is cool with Jimmy Morrison. We know this because we read the book, okay? One day, he got tricked. He ain't no acid warrior, okay? He a Potter warrior, okay? They gave him something, messed him up, he passed out, okay? Ricky wake up in the morning, oh, what happened? What'd you give me last night? Open his eyes and see Jim Morrison over in the corner like this. Look at the blood. Isn't it beautiful? Rickety James is like, what in the hell is going on here? Because he ain't with all that psychedelic stuff, okay? He ain't with all that, any kind of psychedelic drug. He ain't with that, right? So he over there trying to wraps around Jim Morrison, his junky ass. Forgive me, I ain't trying to, mess with the dead. I'm just telling you the truth. Rickety James was responsible for saving Jim Morrison's life that day. Now, moving forward to 1969, through Ricky Steele, Rickety James would meet Jay Sebring, okay? Jay Sebring, the hairdresser, had decided that he wanted to invest in Rickety James. What's so funny to me is that when I'm reading these books, I found out that so many black artists have some kind of affiliation with Charles Manson. Jay Sebring's girlfriend was Sharon Tate. The following day, he was supposed to go to Los Angeles to hook up with them at that party. We know that party ended up being the scene for the Manson murders. So Rickety James just missed being a casualty of the Manson murders because he was too fucked up to go. By 1977, he's at Motown with the Stone City Band. 1978, Rickety James has created Come Get It. I'm in love with Mary Jane. Ooh, she's my main thing. Do you know all this time I really thought it was a bitch named Mary Jane that he was in love with? I feel tricked. I feel bamboozled, led astray, and run amok. Okay? Because I really believed it was a bitch named Mary Jane out there. And it wasn't until, I started doing the Mary Jane myself that I understand, oh yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. By 1979, Rick created Bustin' Out of the L7 and Fired Up. Ooh, that tour was a nigga. You heard me? Oh, that tour was a ninja. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But both albums went gold. On the Fired Up tour in 1980, Prince would open for him. We know that was a concern, okay? One of the concerns was because the lady Vanity was with Rickety James at first, but then Prince stole. I find that Rickety James was very honest, about his feelings in the book. And I think that he saw Prince as a young funketeer who had the capability of knocking him off his pedestal. The same way that George Clinton saw Rickety James as a young funketeer that was able to knock him off his pedestal. Matter of fact, that's not what I think. That's what Rickety James said in the book. It's 1981, and here comes Street Songs. Street Songs saved Motown. Give it to me, baby. Motown wanted Ricky James to produce Diana Ross. Rick was for it. The Diana? You want me to produce the Diana? Man, bring that skinny over here. I got you, boo. Ricky James got in his feelings because Rick James is a rather sensitive guy. You know what I'm saying? Rather sensitive. He's not weak, but sensitive. So anyway, when Berry DeGordy said, okay, you're going to produce this album, but you're only going to produce 4 songs on the album, Rickety James was like, answer no. Ding, no. If I can't produce the whole album, then screw you, okay? And he took his songs back and gave it to the Tina Marie, okay? And she killed it. Diana DeRoss, I don't know, baby. You was doing a little struggling over there around that time. That thing that Tina Marie produced, I don't know if Diana Ross would have been able to kill it the way that Tina Marie did, but it was an opportunity miss. Now, don't forget that Tina Marie had been with Motown at least 2 years before Wild and Peaceful came out, okay? She was just a white artist that was there at Motown that Berry Gordy didn't know what to do with, okay? Again, Rickety James explained how it all happened in the Glow book. I don't have all day to give it to y'all like that. I'm just trying to, remind you how vicious this book club is. So by 1982, Berry DeGordy was like, excuse me, can you do this Temptations album for me? Answer yes, I will do it. And we have Standing on the Top. Hey. 1983. Smokey the Robinson and Rickety James is together. Okay? Oh, not the Smokey the Robinson. Yes, baby. Yes, Smokey. Do you know, man, Smokey? Man. Ooh, baby. And for his album, Cold Blooded, Rickety James hooked up with Smokey, and we have Lips Soft and Tender, ready to speak. Her voice says, I love you, and it's making me weak. Hey there, little girl. Oh, can I just say, I love you. 1984, his drug problem is a problem, okay? Because remember, I told you it's never a problem till it's a problem, okay? It's a problem. It is at its peak. He's declaring that he will soon be sober. Until they put his ass in rehab. And he's parked next door in a bungalow next to Steve Tyler. And them two together in the rehab being powder rangers together. 1985, his drug habit is still on, 10, all right, 1,000. But he's still Rickety James. His friend, Eddie Murphy, contacted him and was like, man, I need an album. Help me. It's nothing, bruh. My girl likes to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time. In 1990, Rick James released a total of 9 albums under Motown before he was signed with Warner Brothers. Okay? In 1990, MC Hammer sampled Super Freak, okay, with the song You Can't Touch This. Dun-na-na-na. Hammer never got permission. So Rickety James got writer's credit and was able to receive his first Grammy. That is disgusting to me. As accomplished as Rick James was, y'all couldn't get that nigga. No, was it because it wasn't a funk category back then? I really don't understand how they skipped over Rickety James. Was they afraid of Rickety? Did they think that he was going to, accept a Grammy and say something crazy? Yeah, probably so. I mean, it is Rickety James. Now, in 1991, he was standing before the judge for kidnapping that lady. I think that, she really did think that she was going over there just to smoke some crack and leave. No. You can't smoke crack with Rickety James and think you're going to leave. No. Free crack? No, this ain't that. No, brother. I ain't got no hit. That resulted in him doing 5 years in jail, but he was released early because, on the way it was some bullshit. It's always red tape. Somebody did something wrong, filed it wrong, tried to bribe one of the witnesses with, drugs and money, something like that. So he was released early. By 1995, he created his album, Rhapsody, but it was not released until 1997. The same year, he suffered a stroke and survived. Now, as a part of his comeback, Rickety James did the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, okay? I love how old friends always reach back. And it's crazy that I didn't put it together until now that when Eddie Murphy was trying to do his album and Rickety James was able to help him create his album, Eddie Murphy never forgot that, okay? So you got Rick James, he walking with a cane, but hell, let's put him in a movie. Here comes Spanky in the movie Life. After that, we got Charlie Murphy and his true Hollywood stories about Rickety James. Now, there's always been talk that the Dave Chappelle show is responsible for Rickety James' death, okay? Not because, the Dave Chappelle show put the, pipe or whatever it was back in his mouth or, in his veins or however, he was doing what he was doing, okay? It was because, he's back in full effect. Those true Hollywood stories is what put Rickety James back on the map. And because Rickety James is now receiving the love that he used to when he was on top of the world, not exactly, but it's way better than what he had been receiving in the past 10 years. So he's back into that party life, being reintroduced to Boogity Show. As we know, on August 4th, 2004, at 54 years old, he passed away, okay? The autopsy showed that, yes, he did have drugs in his system, okay, but not an amount that would cause his death. For him to have died at 54, his life was so large, okay? And I would say that he lived his life to the fullest, okay? Now, it was compacted into 54 years, but you got to remember, this ninja been doing his thing since he was like 14. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, and subscribe because it is so important to our success here on the YouTube. Now, remember this. The same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves. Be safe, get vaccinated, and have a good one.